It was because of me. It's always because of us, because we don't always attract what we want. We attract what we are. And because of that, it's also so important that you invest in yourself. That's the best investment you can do. You can invest in Bitcoin, you can invest in all crypto, you can invest in gold, you can invest in real estate, whatever. But still, the best investment is in yourself.
Awekenge, this is Mental Metals, hosted by Asagot Toto.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Mental Metals. I'm your host, Asagot Toto. And before we dive into today's incredible conversation, I have a small favor to ask. If you enjoy what you hear today, please take a moment to rate and review our podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen. Your feedback not only helps us improve, but also helps others discover the valuable insights we share every week. And if you find today's episode particularly inspiring or insightful, don't forget to share it with your friends, family, or anyone you think could benefit from it. Thank you for your support. It truly means the world to us. Now, let's get back into our conversation. I saw on your bio on Podmatch that says that just another special being having a human experience. Can you elaborate more on that?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. I wrote that back then, so I need to update it new. But yeah, it's in this world. I want to start like that. In this world, you need to put yourself always in the box. Everything is labeled always, and also especially when you make your own business. And let's say now, for example, also in my case, when you want to build a coaching program, right? And yeah, that there's always, so much people say, yeah, you need to niche down as much as possible. And that's true for a certain degree, right? Because you can't just make everything, yeah, you coach, okay, but what do you coach exactly? So sure, you have to go a bit, you have to put yourself a bit in a box like that. But I think personally, it's really difficult, to just say, all right, I am, for example, now I am a consciousness coach, or I could say now also I'm a holistic personal coach. But I'm that what you see in me, and you can say also, for example, yeah, I'm a husband, I'm a father, I'm I'm a daughter, I'm a son, I'm that. But what do you are truly in your deepest essence, right? And I wrote that just a human, just a spiritual being who makes a human experience here on this earth, because we humans are truly spiritual beings. So in our core, really. And because of that, I also teach always, or one from my big messages is invest in yourself every day and get to know yourself better, not just on that surface level. It's just so much people say when you ask them, who are you? And then most of the time just comes a name, their profession, or whatever. But who you are truly in your core, really, from your inside, and I think this is a long way to find out who you are truly. And with the time, when you are into that personal development, spirituality, etc., you find more and more out about yourself and who you are really, really, and because of that, and also because of other reasons, because of also of other reasons, I just wrote it there back then. Yeah, I'm just a spiritual being who makes a human experience here. Yeah, I would answer it like that.
Actually, it goes back to the conversation that I had with I think it was Marcus, if I'm not mistaken. I forgot the name. Whereas we dive deep in the conversation of who we really are in terms of it. It really goes. I would say it really goes back to this thing of as much more as more I engage with people, the more I realize that as much as you you define yourself. But I just want to touch on the first thing that you said, that as much when someone asks you who you are, for example, I would say I'm a podcaster. I I am a student. I actually I don't say who I really am in a way. That's I feel like that's where we need to redefine who the term who we are. And I feel like it's the way that we it's the way where that people we were grew up, in terms of we were raised in a way. And also another thing is the fact that in a way this thing of asking ourselves that who we are, it really engages with the spirituality in a way, because as you've said that we are spiritual beings, in some sense people tend to not believe that, because they are influenced by so many factors within the society, in terms of your social media, your so so-called spiritual leaders not knowing that, not teaching us proper values in terms of what is spirituality in a way. So yeah, I think that part that we just covered, I feel like it is something that set the stage in terms of the conversation that we're gonna dive into. So you I want to talk about the journey. Like, it's something that really fascinated me in terms of when I was reading the bio, and someone who is went through a lot, but at the end you persevere, and in a way you not only you did not only persevere in a way, but also you try to help people out there in terms of becoming coach, as you mentioned, conscious coach. So I really love that. So you mentioned overcoming a variety of challenges: smoking, drinking, ADHD, Tourette's syndrome, and even suicidal thoughts. Can you share some turning points in your journey? What led you to seek change?
Yeah, sure. So it's not just one thing, and it's also depend on where do you stand now in your life. So where the listener stands now in their life, and with me back then. So I need to dive a bit deeper into my past, just
No
to
problem.
understand.
Yeah. Okay.
And really back then I had a really difficult past. So, and when I was growing up, I got a lot of traumas, some bigger, some smaller, and yeah, back then when I was in the primary school, I also was getting bullied, and it was a really really tough time, and I also don't had much friends, so I'm not sure if I really had real friends, real friends. So, and yeah, then just moving forward with the time. time when I was coming out from school, I just tried to make it a bit shorter now that it's not so boring. So anyway, it's not boring. There was happening a lot of things. For example, my parents also was getting separated when I was 3 years young, and then my mom had it also really difficult, with the father figure, right? Because first my mom had a couple of boyfriends, so, and with some I really was like that, was not really nice. And my dad also couldn't show me really how it means to be a real healthy masculine man here on in this world, because he had his own struggles, and he was drinking a lot, and because of that, also from the alcohol, he was dying. So by the way, really, alcohol, fuck that, really, it destroys so fucking much lives in this world. And anyway, by the way, we have so much in this world you can be addicted on, you can be addicted on so much things, uh, alcohol, tobacco, weed, pornography, and so. And back then, when I was 14 years young, and there I still was in the school, in this primary school, right? I was approximately, I think, 14 years young, and then my dad was dying on Christmas. This was fucking hard, damn. And really, just imagine a child who goes through so much. And I don't say that, I don't tell you that because of pity or something. I just want to give everyone some inspiration and motivation. That you always can change your life. It's just a decision, and it's also it has so much to do with your setting, right? With your mindset, and what do you do on a daily fucking basis. And also, if you get the right education, because this education in this primary school system, the education, the education that most people get, let's say 90% of the people, they just get education you don't really need in life to create your dream life, right? To create a better life for yourself. And then back then again, into my past, let's dive back there just short. Then after school, I tried a lot of things what I can make, because you need to know what do you make after school, right? You need to know directly what do you make, but they just give you some recommendations, they say, okay, now you can make that, but that and that and that you can't make, because you don't have good enough grades, right? You know what I mean? So, and anyway, we can dive deeper a bit later on, but anyway, somewhen there was a turning point in my life. So, and this turning point was after I made my education as chef, as cook. This was also really hard. I don't know how I got it done. I just got it done. I just had discipline that I make it. But anyway, after that, I worked in some other restaurants, and then there was Corona. There was coming Corona, and I was sitting at home and really thinking about my life. This can't be all. This can't be fucking all. Just working 9 to 5 for a chef, just not for yourself. You just working for a chef. You don't share the vision, from the company and so. And then I found the opportunity So by the way, I don't make this anymore, but I found back then a opportunity, network marketing. And then the first time in my life, I saw there is so much more possible in this world than I thought, and there exists so much more education that is really interesting. Damn, before I don't want to learn anything because, I just had in my head, all right, I just want to chill, hang out, making party, smoking weed from the morning until the evening, and, just having a good life and just be addicted to everything. Yeah, okay, but that's not real life, and that's also not how you master this human game here, this fucking matrix, you know? Because I really think we live in some sort of matrix. I don't know exactly what kind of construct this is, but anyway. Yeah, to master this human game here, you really need the right education and the right people around you. And this I got back then when I started into this whole personal development journey, when I started with this network marketing. And then, damn, the real work was starting, the real work with myself. I had to go through a lot also in that last years for my transformation, that I can stand here now or sit actually and record this podcast episode with you, or just be able to coach people because I experienced so much and I transformed myself so much, and gained so much knowledge and wisdom. But everything has a price in this life. So
Definitely.
yes, it was a really long answer, but I hope it helps a bit. And we can also now later on dive a bit deeper into some tips or into this whole personal development journey.
Definitely. I can totally relate when you said that in a way of not having actual friends in primary school. I feel like I had the same feeling when not only in primary school but also in high school, because I didn't see as much as it was this thing of peer pressure, and also trauma can really affect one's mental well-being in terms of, imagine all the things that you mentioned, ADHD and having this trauma, and seeing how your father reacted to in terms of mental health problems. And it was, I feel like when you are young, this trauma that you keep on keeping within, and you think that it's a healthy thing. And I love the fact that you mentioned the thing of healthy masculinity and as a man. And it was quite, i- in a way, it is something that really needs to to be taken in consideration, because the reason I'm saying that is because as you know, that is men's mental health month in a way. And some of these conversations we are very afraid to talk about in a way, or let me not put that way, that we are afraid. We are forced to not have this conversation in a way because ja- the reason why is that is the fact that we need to think about other people. How will they feel about that? So in a way, I'm really loving the way this conversation is going, because it addresses the stigma around mental health, the stigma around men's mental health in general. So thank you so much for touching on that. It really appreciate it. And thank you so much for sharing your story. And it's very important. And I believe that through sharing our stories, that's where we start to do some change. That's where people become really, pe- people relate to our stories, and they have this confidence enough to step forward and say, no, also I'm going through this. How can I be helped? How can I go through? How can what resources are there to help me? So still on the journey, in terms of, you mentioned this thing of, I think it's a victim card. As much as I had a conversation yesterday with a guest where we spoke, our conversation was really aimed at men's mental health. So he mentioned that this thing of victim role. As someone who has went through a lot, and definitely in a way, I'm sure that you wanted to maybe at some point you played that victim role, victim card, definitely. So how did you go out of that? Were you able to say no? Enough is enough. It's time to take care of myself. It's time for me to be that responsible person for my life.
Yeah. First things first. Definitely, I agree with you. We need to have more conversations like that, and more people needs to go out with their message, and really find personal development for themselves, find spirituality for themselves,
Mm.
and really connect with like-minded individuals. And really, we need to speak in that world. It's more important than ever, about really critical problems in that world, in that system that is created by really powerful people, and they just want to gain more control over. I say it now like that in quote small people, and theoretically, most of the people in the world, they are just slaves. And it's hard. It's hard, and maybe someone is not agreeing with me now, but it's just because they don't have the insights, the insights I gained in the last years, and just see the world completely differently than I saw it, instead of, then I saw it 5 years ago, right? And really, it's so important that we talk about this stuff, healthy masculinity, for example, because there is an attack on young men in the world from different big institutions. Let me say it like that. Let me put it really carefully like that, because you don't make friends with that, what I am saying sometimes, because it's just the truth, and the truth is painful. And
Definitely.
I had to go through a lot of pain back then in the past, and really this healing journey is not easy. But there's really an attack on healthy masculinity, and there's also this saying, or there are also, people who speak bad about masculinity, but it's so important, that we really understand all of that, because there are also people out there who says, yeah, masculinity is not good. No. There is healthy masculinity and sick masculinity. You can have too much masculinity and the wrong, and you implement it wrong in your life. And for example, search always stress with others and be aggressive and just live in this whole ego. There's also a healthy ego and a unhealthy ego. But anyway, we need to speak about critical points, problems that we have right now in this system, and really the most things that the system provides us, for example, the primary school, the pharma industry, and that you need all of that shit. And the most of the things, really, it's bullshit. It's to hold us small, to that we don't wake up. And when we really dive deeper into spirituality and learn more about ourselves, develop ourselves, invest the time in ourselves, we see what's really going on in the world, really behind the curtains, what these big institutions, this powerful people don't want you to know, this education. It's so important. And this was really important now also for me to just say it. And also back to your question, I wrote me now down commitment. But through all of that, what I said now, I totally forgot what was the question.
Oh,
Because I
actually,
really wanted to speak about this point. What you said before,
in terms of how did you become free from the victim role in terms of it?
Yes, exactly. First, we have to understand what is the victim role, right?
Mm.
Or y- where is that now? There's so much to say about it, but I give my best to make it simple, first of all, really, it's just consistency, and consistency is key with everything, right?
Yeah.
Discipline is key with everything, and you can't change your life completely from one day to another. You can't just change your life from today until tomorrow,
Mm.
For sure, definitely, you can make a commitment. Really, I changed now my life. I changed my life now, and try to become every day a better version of myself. Learn every day something new, about yourself, etc., etc. And it's really acknowledging your bad habits, and looking deep in yourself. And for example, you can make this with meditation and breath work, working with your soul and looking in yourself and confronting yourself, confronting with yourself.
Mm.
That's fucking hard, and it's painful, because some people has more traumas in them than others, but there's always something to learn. And I would say it's really acknowledging, and with time you find more and more out about yourself. It's just starting. It's just going every day, step by step. And for example, also, listen podcasts like that. Just listen every day to one podcast episode. It's not much. Damn, you have every day 24 hours. All right, you need to sleep from this 24 hours, but every person, every human on this planet has the same time. We all have the same 24 hours. It's just what we make with it, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
this would be the first steps, what I would say, really, to come out of this whole victimhood we are playing with yourself,
Mm. Mm.
and
Mm.
really going step by step. So much times it's at least with me also like that. I just want to make everything in once, I just want to be here now, but most of the time it's really step by step and relax, enjoy this life as much as possible, and give yourself patience and love to change, actually.
Mm.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And also it goes back to what you spoke about in terms of I think it was on your profile on Podmatch, the mirror principle in finding a partner. And I I really believe in a way sometimes we don't we believe in such thing as you into finding a partner, as there's this stigma around men of finding a partner and talking about their mental well-being. Through this principle, can you can you elaborate on how personal development played a role in your love life? in terms of using the mirror principle?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. It's also a big, big topic, and we need to dive deeper into that. So, and just for that, we could make a whole podcast for itself. But
Mm.
first of all, again, we need to understand what is the mirror principle. And like with everything in life, first we have to understand it to actually change it, right? We need to get the knowledge to implement it then, and then becomes wisdom. We need to implement as much as possible from the knowledge we learn. And first of all, the most of the people out there, they just looking in the outside. Also, always in the outside, always looking in the outside for some external validation, or looking in the outside for solutions, for answers. But what is actually when you look a bit more inside, when you look a bit more internal? Because everything you need lies internally.
Definitely.
Right? And all this in the outside is just a reflection. It's just a reflection from yourself. And I realized it more and more with this whole personal development journey, I realize it more and more, and I experience it truly in my life that everything comes from the inside. Every solution lies internally. And sure, there happens always things in the outside. You can't change it. But it's always the question how you react on the outside. So this is the first point what I want to say when it comes to relationships and attracting a great partner, right? So, and back then, I really could. Now I realize why I got always so bad women, bad girls, or bad girls. No, I mean, how I can say that now. Sometimes you ask yourself, all right, why I get always the wrong, in quotes, the wrong women? What is it? What is wrong with me? But damn, yes, you need to ask yourself the right questions, because the quality of your questions determine the quality of your life. So, and back then, when I attracted the wrong women, it was because of me. It was because of me. It's always because of us. Because we don't always attract what we want.
Definitely.
We attract what we are. And because of that, it's also so important that you invest in yourself. That's the best investment you can do. You can invest in Bitcoin, you can invest in all crypto, you can invest in gold, you can invest in real estate, whatever. But still, the best investment is in yourself, because you attract what you are, not what you want actually. Also, in one way, you attract what you really want, because you develop yourself then into that person who attracts that thing you want. Because the mirror principle says, you really reflect what you are. And the universe, let's say this is the mirror, the mirror principle, the universe just gives you what you ask for. And then you need to work with that. And just when you say always, every day you stand up with such a negativity and don't make something against it, I also don't stand up every day, completely positive. It's the best life. I have my dream life and everything is so good. Yes. That definitely not. No. Happiness is earned and everything is earned and everything has a price. I stand up also sometimes completely negative, and just thinking or just feeling, oh, fuck, damn, why I don't have that and why, and then I just thinking, and then my mind search solutions for something, how I can make that, how I can make that, and oh, I feel so bad. But then, I just make my morning routine and just, for example, go for a cold shower to eliminate negativity. And then, go a bit in myself. And really, it's really first the relationship with yourself. Because, as I said, so much people also always search validation in the outside. And some people makes it with women. They need to have every weekend other woman, to have sex with or something like that, because they search this happiness. And it's always a deeper reason why, why people want that, what they want. And what I realized really is you need to ask yourself deeper questions and really, why do you make that? For example, you don't want just a girlfriend. Why do you want a girlfriend? And what kind of girlfriend, and then you have to dive deeper. What are your values, for example? I have also, for example, in my coaching program, the small pitch now, I have a value workshop. It goes approximately 2 hours, and there we dive really much deeper into these values, because I made myself this value workshop back then with another coach, and it helped me so much, because I thought, for example, one of my top values is honesty, but it wasn't. So, but really back then, with that mindset I had back then, when I was winning the girlfriend I have now, and it's the best relationship ever, because there's so much more internally happening, right? It's not so much outside, looking always on the outside. It's so much happening internally, inside, and looking on the inside values and how we can make each other more happy and how we can become stronger together and a stronger connection also spiritually, everything, really how we gain more trust together, how, just always asking yourself. And really, back then I thought, okay, I have enough now with this women, I don't want to attract this women again anymore. And there was a time I was also then already learning a bit more about myself and so. And I had a vision board. I made a vision board when I was fresh starting into this whole personal development journey with this network marketing. And then I had their vision board and I had a woman on there. And also I really, I'm not sure. I visualized, I visualized already without knowing it, without knowing it, that I actually visualize now, because I wasn't diving so deep back then in the past into that, but I was knowing what I want and what I don't want anymore, and what's important for me when I get a new girlfriend, the inner values, the insights, and a girlfriend also who I can have deeper conversations with, and just what I can talk with, and I really realize now that it was because I changed myself. and then I also attracted someone else. I hope this a bit deeper explanation was
Actually, unfortunately, I would love to keep you, but unfortunately, I'm seeing the time now. Nearing the end of our.
What do you mean? So I don't hear so good. I think it's because of your microphone or something.
You hear me now?
No, it's so this sound so strange.
Sorry. Just let me. Can you hear me now?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's a bit better.
Good. Can you hear me now?
Now it's a bit better. Yes.
Okay. I just want to say, we thank you so much for that answer, and it really shows that most people end up, and I love the fact that you said we attract what we are, and I really saw that point in point I like. Now, as I was saying, that thank you so much for just sharing that with us, and definitely through our and as I've said, I'm seeing the time that we are almost off time. Just
Yeah.
thank you so much for being here and sharing your story. I really appreciate, and definitely I've learned one thing or two from you in terms of trying to find that having that healthy masculinity, as much as in a way I would say that your story doesn't define you. In a way, that's how I view you, as someone who had persevered, who had not survived but thrived. So thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it.